I'm Angela with Happy Little Stitch Shop, and welcome to our Table Topper of the Month program. We are doing this program with Riley Blake Designs. Each month, Riley Blake Designs provides a new table topper that goes with the season that we ship out to you. Happy Little Stitch Shop ships out to you each month, and we are making them with you. I am making them with you. So the first table topper that we are doing, this is shipping now. It started shipping at the end of January, so it's shipping now. But we work a few months ahead for the table topper program. So in January, the box that ships is really an April themed box. That gives us a few months to get it done so that we can enjoy it during the month that it's supposed to be displayed during. So for January, we are receiving the April table topper, and this is the one that we're going to work on today. And I'm going to work through it step by step with you to put together this cute bunny table topper. Each of them comes in this adorable keepsake box, and here's a little snippet of all of the months of the year. So each month, I hope you will come back and join me for our Table Topper of the Month program and make these cute table toppers. If you've subscribed to this subscription through Happy Little Stitch Shop, then you will be invoiced at the end of each month or when the table topper arrives. It's not necessarily at the end of each month, but you'll be invoiced each month and we'll ship the table topper out to you right away. And our goal is to have the table topper video ready for you either as you're receiving the box or shortly after you receive the box so that you can get started on your table topper right away. So today we're going to start on our bunny table topper. Spring bunnies, that's what it's called, spring bunnies. So the first step that you want to do is you want to open your kit, pull out all the fabric, pull out the pattern that's included in the kit, and read through that pattern. First thing that is recommended anytime you start a quilt is go ahead and grab that pattern, sit down, curl up with a nice quilt, and read through it so that you know what's to be expected. So I went ahead and I read through that and I cut up all of my fabric. The cutting instructions are right at the beginning of the pattern. So I just started right there and I cut up all of my fabric that I need to make this table topper. So after you do that, and I recommend having alphabetties to label all of your stuff. I had my set of alphabetties in use on another quilt that I'm in the middle of. So I did not label my stuff. Now I'm having to go through and remeasure it all. So I need to invest in a second set of alphabetties so that I have some to use if another set is in use. So I would definitely recommend getting yourself a set of alphabetties to use when you're cutting and labeling all of your pieces so you know what you're grabbing when you're ready to put it together. So the first step we're going to do, if you want to take a look at our cutting space here, I've grabbed, this is the first step. We're going to need these 4 pieces of fabric. And we're going to make our 2 eye sets. So I'm going to put these right sides together. I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam on both of these. So I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Okay guys, I went ahead and I made my 2 bunny eyes. So those are done. Let's take a peek at all the other pieces we need to make the bunny face. So I'm going to sew those eyes to either side of this square per the instructions. This is the bunny nose, so I'm going to go ahead and sew those 3 pieces together. Then I'm going to sew this piece to this piece, and I'm going to add this to the top and this to the bottom to make the bunny face. And that'll complete our first bunny face, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the cheeks for the bunny. So go ahead and get all your pieces together, sew together that bunny face, and we'll meet right back here. Okay guys, I have my bunny face all together. Eyes, nose, face, complete. So this is what it should look like when you're done. Now we're ready to move on to making the bunny cheeks. Now remember, we're making a right side cheek and a left side cheek. So let's take a peek here at what we're doing. Now for this part, we're using the sew and flip method. So I have my 2 cheeks laid out here. You need these 3 pieces of fabric for both of them. For this cheek, for the left cheek, we're going to be doing the sew and flip method on the left side of the fabric. For the right cheek, we're going to be doing the sew and flip method on the right side of the fabric. Now, if you are a new sewist and you feel more comfortable drawing a diagonal line here to stitch on, you can use a friction pen or a mechanical pencil and a ruler and just draw a line from here to here, and then you're going to stitch directly on that line. You're going to trim 1/4 of an inch away, and you're going to flip this open. Okay? If you have a Seam So Easy guide by Lori Holt, or you have some diagonal seam tape by Cluck Cluck Sew, you can just follow the line on your tape from corner to corner and use it that way. But for the longest time, even though I had these other tools, I felt more comfortable drawing a diagonal line here and stitching on that. So whatever you're more comfortable doing, that's what you should do. And then the same thing down here. We are going to be drawing, I just want to double check my pattern here to make sure. Yeah, same thing down here. We're going to be drawing a diagonal line from here to here, or sewing a diagonal line from here to here, and then we're going to be, pressing that open. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to both of these, and when I will come back and I will show you how to trim the 1/4 inch seam, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. But I'm going to go ahead and sew here to here, here to here, and the same thing on the opposite side here, here to here, and here to here. And then I will be right back with you. Okay guys, I put together my right and left cheek. So come on down, let's take a peek. So like I said, I sewed on the diagonal, and now I'm just going to show you quick how, just in case this is new to you, I'm going to line up my 1/4 inch seam. I'm putting my 1/4 inch line right on where I stitched, and I'm going to cut 1/4 inch away from that. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut 1/4 inch away from that. And then I'm going to take this to the iron, and I'm going to press these open. Okay? And I will do the same thing to my other block over here. And then we'll set those aside, and next thing we're going to work on is the neck for the bunny. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, did you get your cheeks together? I have my left and my right cheek all set and ready to go. So I'm going to set those aside. And now let's take a peek at what we're going to do for the neck. So we need these 3 pieces of fabric for the neck, and you're going to put this like this, and you're going to sew a diagonal or draw and then sew a diagonal line here to here. And then same thing over here. You're going to sew or draw and then sew a diagonal line from here to here. And then you're going to do the 1/4 inch cut, and we're going to press these open just like that. Okay, so I'll be back once my neck is all put together. Okay, we just got done putting our neck together for our first bunny. Let's take a peek at assembling what we need to do to assemble the whole head. So I've got the 2 cheeks here, the face in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and sew those 3 pieces together. Then I'm gonna sew the neck to the bottom of those 3 pieces. And then this extra piece is gonna go on the side. And then that will assemble our head. Then next, we're gonna move on to starting to assemble the ears. So for the first step, we need these 2 pieces, and we're gonna do another flip and sew. So we're gonna put this here. We're gonna sew top to bottom, top outer corner to bottom inner corner, and then we're gonna flip this open. This is gonna be the bottom part of the ear. And then we're also going to, I have this ready to go. This is another flip and sew. So we're gonna sew corner to corner, flip that open. We're gonna sew corner to corner and flip that open after we trim 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do these 3 steps, and then we'll come back to do the first pink part with our pink material. So have fun sewing. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay guys, did you put your cute little bunny head together? Mine went together nicely without any problems. Here it is. We did the head, added the neck, and then we're supposed to go ahead and sew this. So this is all done and sewn together. And as you can see, this is what I mean. I trimmed 1/4 of an inch away from the seam, pressed it open, so it's all set and ready to go. And then we did this one as well. So again, 1/4 inch seam away from the seam, 1/4 inch cut away from the seam, press it open for both of those. And now we're ready to move on to our first pink part. So let's take a peek at what we're going to do next. This is going to be a multi-step step here. So first we have our pink fabric, and we're going to sew both of these white squares right side together, trim 1/4 inch away, press it open. Once that's pressed open for both of these, we're going to add this to the side and then this to the top. Press those open. And then once that part is done, this is going to go into the corner of that square. We're going to sew a diagonal here, trim 1/4 inch away, and press that open. So multiple steps for this part, but I think we can do it. So go ahead and enjoy sewing this part together, and I'll meet you right back here in just a couple minutes. So I went ahead and did all those steps and put together this block right here. This is the middle part of our bunny ear, and we're working right now on the bunny ear that has part of the ear flopping down. So that's what we're working on. And then I went ahead and did the next step because it's easy peasy. So I went ahead and did the next step and made this, which was just taking this piece, sewing it to this piece, and then adding this for the corner. So that's done. Now let's take a peek because now we're ready to put our whole ear together, and this is going to be another multiple steps. So first up, we are going to take this piece and we're going to sew this to it. Once that's done, we're going to add this piece to it and sew those together. Then once that's a complete unit, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this to the top, this to the bottom, actually this to the bottom, this to the side, and this will get added to the top last. Okay, and then that will be our floppy ear right there. So let's go ahead and do all those steps to put it together. All of this is explained very, very clearly in the pattern, but I'm just going through it with you so that you have a visual in case you need the help. And also because it's a chance for us to sew all of these cute kits together. But really, I'm just giving you a basic visual in case you need it as you go through the pattern, but the pattern explains all of this very, very well. So go ahead and put your first floppy ear together, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. So how did that ear come together for you? I did have to pull out my Cindy's seam ripper. This is a seam ripper that I use, which, by the way, all the stuff that I'm using is available at happylittlestitchshop.com. But I did have to pull out my seam ripper, which I was a little bummed about. But it finally came together. So here's what I will tell you. When you are lining up, so this part all went together fine, but when you're lining up this bottom one, I was having a hard time getting this white to line up with this white at that angle, which is how it looks in the pattern. I am having to trim. After I piece some of my things together, I'm having a little bit of an overhang here and there. So all of the measurements are in the pattern. After you complete each step, it gives you a new measurement that this unit should measure, blah, blah, blah. So be sure that you're checking that and trimming up if you need to in between all of the steps after you get done piecing units together. So I had to rip this part out quite a few times. I rarely pin because I don't really like to take the time to pin, but I did pin this to get that to line up the way that it needs to line up. So my floppy ear unit came together, yay. So that's important. We're gonna be making two of each kind of rabbit head. So 4 rabbit heads total. And according to there are 4 of them here. 2 will have floppy ears and 2 will have straight ears. So I'm going to go through with you how to make 1 of each, and then you'll just duplicate that to make the other one. So our floppy ear unit is together. Now let's take a peek at what we have to do for the next 2 steps. First, we're going to take this. We're going to put these 2 on here. Sew there, cut, cut, flip open. And then the next step is down here where we're going to take this piece, we're going to sew this here, put that open, and then we're going to sew these 2 onto both of these corners, right sides together. Sew there, flip both of those open. Once this unit is together, then we're going to add this to the end of it. So go ahead and do those 2 steps and come on back, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay guys, no problems putting together those last 2 units, and they're actually going to be part of this next multi-step that we're going to do. So let's take a peek. Here are the 2 pieces that we just put together. We just put together this one and we just put together this one. Now for this next step, we're going to take this white and put it on the pink. and we are going to sew from here to here and open that up. Once that is complete, it's going to be put into this right here. So we're going to sew these 3 together and then sew this to that. And then once that unit is complete, we are going to sew this to this, and then we'll sew this to the whole thing. So lots of steps going on right there, but it's all laid out really, really well in the pattern. So just follow the pattern, get this part sewn together, and I'll meet you right back here. Bunny ear number 2 is done. How did it come together for you? I did make one mistake where I sewed this to the wrong side. So Cindy's seam ripper came out again, and I had to take it off here and put it on the right side. So that was a error on my part, but it came together nicely, trimmed it up, and now if we want to take a peek, we are ready to put our first bunny together. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to sew our 2 ears together. Then we're going to sew our ears to our face, and then we're going to sew both of these side borders to it. The final bunny size will be 16.5 by 16.5. So I'm going to measure that once I'm done and trim it up if I have to. And then our first bunny will be done, and then we have to make another one of these. So I will be back with you to show you my this final bunny, and then we will move on to duplicating this one, which I'm not going to show you on this video. And then we'll move on to making our other bunny head without the floppy ears. So go ahead and sew these pieces together, and I'll meet you right back here. We made a bunny! Look! It's so cute! Here is my bunny. Now remember, we do have to make another one of these, but in the meantime, I'm gonna jump in and start on bunny block number 2, the one with the straight ears, not the floppy ears. So we'll have 2 floppy eared bunnies and 2 straight eared bunnies. So here are the first steps for starting the straight ear bunny. If we want to take a peek down here, we're going to make 3 of these units where we sew a gray to a white, a white to a gray, a gray to a white. It doesn't matter, because even if this is just like this, it's just going to flip this way to make the nose instead of the eyes. So 3 of those units, once we sew all of those together, we're going to sew them together this way. So we'll sew this unit to this unit to this unit, and then we'll add the white squares on the outside to complete the first part of our bunny face for our straight-eared bunny. So go ahead and do that, and then come right back as we continue to make our cute Spring Bunnies table topper kit. So we have the first part of our second bunny done. Here is the face with the cute little cheeks. And now we have 2 more steps to complete the face unit. So let's take a peek. We're gonna take one of the whites, and we're gonna do the sew and flip method on both of these corners. Okay, so we're gonna sew from here to here, and we're gonna flip it open, and we're gonna sew from here to here, trim, and then flip that open. And then we are gonna take this, once it's complete, and we're gonna put it to the top of that unit and sew those together. And we're gonna take this one and sew it to these 3 sections together to complete the whole bunny face. So go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, we have our bunny face done and ready for some ears. So now let's get started with making 2 ears for this bunny head. Let's take a peek. This is going to be multiple steps, so I'm going to show you all in one so that we can go and do them. We're making 2 separate ears. The first step is we are going to take the yellow pieces with the white pieces. We're going to do the sew and flip, so we're going to sew here to here, here to here, cut them, and then press them open. And we're going to do that 4 times. We need 4 of those, okay? Once we have that unit complete, we're going to add one of these units to the top and to the bottom of this ear unit. So we're going to add this completed unit. We're going to sew these 3 together. Then we're going to add this to the top, and we're going to add another one to the bottom, and we're going to do that twice. So we're going to do the same thing here. So these 3 together, add a unit to the top, add a unit to the bottom. And then we are ready to put our ears together. So we're going to take this completed unit, and we're going to put one in here and one in here, and we're going to sew all of them together. So that's a lot of steps all in one, but let's get our 2 ears made for this bunny head, and I'll be right here, back here with you as soon as I get mine done. Our bunny is coming together. Let's take a look, because I've got it all laid out for the next step. So here are our ears that we just did. We just put those together. And now we need to assemble the whole thing. So we're gonna sew these 3 pieces together. This, you'll find out from the pattern what this piece is, but you'll sew these 3 pieces together. And then once those are sewn together, you'll sew these 2 sides onto there. And then we'll have our second bunny done. So I will sew these together. I'll come back and I'll show you my completed bunny. And then we'll need to repeat this process to make one more straight-eared bunny. And if you haven't already, another floppy-eared bunny to be able to put all of our bunnies together to complete our table topper. So go ahead and sew this bunny together. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, we got bunny number 2 put together. Here is mine. He is all done and put together. I will tell you that this did not go together all that great for me. So let's take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when I first tried to sew this together, and they're still not lined up great, but I can live with this now. But my ears were not lining up. It was like way over here and way over here. So what I ended up doing, if you run into this problem too, I ended up taking this part here. So I didn't have it attached here. I didn't have it attached here. I just had this center piece. I ripped it out here and I made this center yellow shorter. I took off about 1/4 inch in order to bring my ears closer together so that my bunny didn't have ears like hanging out here. So that's what I ended up doing to make it all come together and work. And luckily there's enough border around, enough yellow all the way around that you're still gonna have the block size be correct. So I had to fudge a little bit with mine in order to get it to line up and actually look like a bunny. I'm not sure why that happened. I don't know if I didn't trim it up correctly before, but I did run into that snafu. So I'm sharing it with you in case you have the same issue. Don't panic. Just take off a little bit from that center yellow piece and it'll bring your ears a little bit closer together. So my second bunny is done. And now I'm gonna put all 4 bunnies together and then I will come back and share my finished table topper with you. My finished table topper top. It won't all be quilted and bound yet, but the top of it will be done. And I'll share that with you when it's all done. I'll be back in a little bit. You guys, we did it! We completed our first Table Topper Kit of the Month series episode. So here is my Spring Bunnies Table Topper. The top is complete. I need to quilt it and bind it, and then this will be ready to set out for our spring decorations. It is all done. I hope you guys are having fun making it or will have fun making it. Thank you so much for joining us for our first episode in our Table Topper Kit of the Month series. This is the Spring Bunnies Table Topper. Next, we will be doing the May Table Topper. So I hope you will come back and join us for that. In the meantime, please subscribe to our Happy Little Stitch Shop YouTube channel. Please be sure to check out Happy Little Stitch Shop for all of your quilting and cross-stitching goodies. And please follow Happy Little Stitch Shop on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. And we hope that you will have fun making your table topper, and we'll see you again next time. Happy stitching, everybody. Take care.